It is 7 p.m. and I call this meeting of the Elgin Independent School District to order. I'd like to announce that there is a quorum of the board present. This meeting has been duly called and posted in the time and manner required by law. It's time for the Pledge of Allegiance. We on our own tonight? It's summertime. Pledge allegiance. United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Next item being asked to approve the minutes of the June 15th, 2026 board workshop and regular meeting, the July 7th, 2026 special meeting, and the July 15th special meeting.
So moved.
Motion by Mrs. Walter-Schneider, second by Mr. Barker. Any questions? All in favor of said motion respond by aye.
Aye.
Any opposers? Motion passes 6-0. Thank you. Next item, recognitions. Mr. Rodriguez.
Good evening, President Mitchell, members of the board, Dr. Hickman. My name is Al Rodriguez. I'm your Executive Director of Communications and Community Engagement. Tonight we have just a few present recognitions, and we're going to begin with Ms. Maggie Howard.
Hi, good evening, Dr. Hickman, President Mitchell, members of the board. My name is Maggie Howard. I'm the Director of CCMR, CTE, and PTEC. Recently, our district received a very special honor, and I'm proud to share that with you tonight. Last month, members of Elgin ISD's College Career and Military Readiness team attended the CCRSM Leadership Summit in Irving, where Elgin PTEC earned designation with distinction, the highest recognition awarded by the TEA to PTEC programs that demonstrate sustained excellence in student outcomes and achievements. This prestigious designation is reserved for programs that consistently exceed the state's rigorous performance expectations. Throughout the summit, Elgin ISD was recognized as a model of excellence. Our students were featured in the conference welcome video. Austin Community College and Athena Manufacturing were highlighted as exemplary partners, and Elgin PTEC was recognized as a model for programs across Texas. They actually call them the prototype for PTECs. CCMR Specialist Sky Perkins and Coordinator of Dual Credit Programs, Dr. Bianca Villarreal-Erder, accepted the designation with distinction banner on behalf of the district and also presented Elgin ISD's TSI playbook to nearly 400 educational leaders, sharing the strategies that have helped expand college opportunities and strengthen student success. So congratulations to the students, staff, and community partners of Elgin PTEC on this outstanding statewide recognition. And then pictured here is Ms. Sky Perkins and Dr. Bianca Villarreal-Erder.
I have the pleasure of recognizing our next two individuals for our One Town, One Dream Award. If I could ask Ms. Deborah Cartwright and Donna Snowden to join me up here, please. Those of you that know Donna and Deborah know that they've been active community members for years. They were some of the first people I met when I joined the school district back in 1996. And I think that recently shows their efforts and their commitment not only to the district, but to the city. These two are responsible for putting on the Purple and White Jubilee, which took place just a couple of weeks back. And those of you that were able to attend, we appreciate you being there and being involved. We had several of our community members, including some of our former staff, recognized by this group of people. And we are excited to call them not only our supporters for the district and for the city, but our friends. So,
thank you so much.
Donna and Deborah.
You were just so special.
If y'all want to come up on stage and you can shake their hands and we'll take a picture of y'all.
Oh, great. Well, I have to say something.
I'm sorry. Of course I do. Byron and Tanisha and Pete have worked with me now for months on the Purple and White Jubilee. And they know that because I'm a lawyer, there's a microphone, I have to talk. I mean, it's just kind of a requirement that I do so. But I want to thank y'all so much because this is a great honor for me. I don't get thanked very often for some of the things that we do. And I have to say that Donna Snowden is the impetus behind everything. I mean, she is one who years ago when we were raising money to fix up the Depot Museum, she called me and said, it's about time you did something for the community, and forced me into a fundraising effort that was very successful. And we did many things and really worked hard to get that museum going. And then it's just progressed every year. There's something new. And when Donna asked me to do something, I always say yes. And this particular time, it was a great honor because honoring distinguished alumni of the school district is something near and dear to my heart. I think that our nominees were wonderful. Tanisha, Byron, we had such a good time looking at all of them and considering them. And Pete Baker's contributions to making sure we have a special award for a legacy of excellence was just outstanding. And so we look forward to 2030 when this happens again. I'm planning to set the framework for it to happen and then step back and let other people do it. Thank you for this.
Well, I have to say something too, if Debbie's going to talk. First of all, I'd like to thank Al, because Al has been our go-to person. So for this last Jubilee that we just had this summer, and he's been a great support. Anything we asked for, he made sure it happened. So thank you, Al. The Purple and White Jubilee, our first one was in 2010, but we started working in 2007 on the Purple and White Jubilee. So we worked 2.5 years before we ever had the first one. That was in 2010, and then our second was 2015. Both of those were very successful. We have a little different format now, but I think it's going to work. And we've got some young people coming up. One of them is my daughter, that are going to take over for us. We'll be in the background helping, but we've got to have some younger people to help us. But thank you to the school district. From the very beginning in 2010, Mr. Graves said, well, why don't you have a fish fry? Well, we can't do that. He made sure that happened. And so that's kind of what we're striving for now. Maybe in the future, we'll have another fish fry and y'all have to be there. But thank you. This is very nice.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Deborah, all right, let me get y'all's picture, please.
Oh, this is going to be such an awkward angle.
You'll be fine. If there's a problem with the photo, it's the phone, it's not me.
Wait a minute.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
That concludes our recognitions.
All right, thank you, sir. Next item, our superintendent's report, and I want to say before she starts talking, to our interim superintendent, her first official board meeting, and so we're glad to have her here. She's done marvelous thus far, so we appreciate that. Dr.
Thank you. I am super excited to be here. We want to highlight a couple of things. Of course, it's summer, and so there's a lot of behind the scenes things happening right now. But what we do want to highlight, first of all, is our job fair. So we recognized early June that we still had quite a few vacancies to fill. And so our human resources department, our principals, put together a job fair on site pretty quickly and got the word out about that. It was very well attended. And I'll tell you, the morning of, I said, if we can hire 5 teachers out of this, it'll be worth every minute we spend up here. And we hired 6. So it was a really great turnout, and we were really excited and appreciate the work that they all did, because it was kind of a group effort to get that done in a short period of time. The next thing we want to highlight is the Randolph Brooks Federal Credit Union ribbon cutting. We want to highlight this simply because our ROTC program, our junior ROTC program, did the flag presentation for that grand opening. And as a result, they received a donation from our BFCU for $1,000. So we're always proud whenever our students can go out and represent us. Next, we have Western Days. I know I saw a lot of you there. It is always a good time. As the district, we help support the parade. So enjoyed seeing all the happy faces, and it wasn't too hot this year. It was really kind of manageable for a Western Days parade. So we had lots of representative people there helping to get things organized. And then of course we had several of our student organizations participate in the parade as well. So the theme this year was Peace, Love, and Western Days. And so we saw a lot of really kind of 60s themed floats. They were great. The next thing we'd like to highlight is the Purple and White Jubilee. This was my first time to attend the Jubilee, and what a wonderful event. It really, if you haven't been, those of you in the audience, you'll have to go next time, because it really showcases the legacy that exists here in Elgin. It recognizes those graduates who've really gone out into the world and made a difference. And what a good thing for our, as we watched and heard the speakers, we thought, oh, our students need to see this. Like, this is where they're going to be someday. So it was a great event, well attended, and just I appreciated so much being able to be there just to witness that celebration of legacy here in Elgin. Okay, get your running shoes on, because we have a lot to do. Summer graduation is coming up next Monday at 6 o'clock p.m. We will have our new teacher academy July 29th through 31st. That's next week, Wednesday through Friday. As teachers, employees return on August the 3rd. We will have our convocation the morning of August the 7th. We're so excited to do that in our auditorium, not for the least of reasons that we get to practice. We actually get a run through, so we're very excited about that. Meet the Wildcats will be that evening, August 7th. And then, of course, our first day of school is August the 12th. So here we go. That is the end of my report.
Thank you. Next item, President's report. The only thing I want to cover, just remind everyone, as we start a new school year, committee assignments. Dr. Hickman sent those out a few weeks ago. So if you'd let her know if you're interested in one of those, whether it be the same one or a different one, that there are a couple of them that can't be changed, but those that can be, please let her know if you're interested. Everybody should be on at least one committee. So I know you guys are overly excited about that, so we look forward to hearing from you. All right, next item, we will cover the consent agenda. Being asked to approve tax report refunds and adjustments for June 2026. Approve financial statement and budget amendment listing for June 2026. Approve investment report for June 2026. Approve purchases greater than $50,000, which are the NWEA map for school year 26-27. Contracted personnel for special services, special program services 26-27. IXL for 26-27. HM8 reading curriculum for 26-27. TXPSI contract for campus security services for 26-27. CSP 2026-11 multi-campus fiber project. First reading of TASB policy updates. Consider approval of the purchase of library materials. Consider approval of the renewal of good cause exception and alternative standard for armed security for the year 26-27. And then finally, consider approval of RFP 2026-12 for special programs for services for a 5-year period. That makes up the consent agenda. There are no questions about that. We'll ask for a motion to approve. Yes, ma'am.
If we go to a police force, are we able to also take advantage
Yes, ma'am, definitely. Ooh, that was loud. Yes, we definitely will be able to take advantage of that. This is basically saying that we have filed a alternative standard because we don't have a police officer on every campus. Of course, we have the armed security services. So in the event when we move forward with starting our own police department and we actually have everything in place compliance-wise, then it would have to come to the board and the board would have to file a motion saying that we are officially starting our own police department. Yes, ma'am, definitely. Mhm. Yes. Mhm.
So the cost for G7 and G4E are together.
Yeah, G4E is the cost. G7 is just a renewal for our good cause exception, meaning that is a requirement that TEA requires that we file to say that we don't have police officers on every campus, but we have security services on every campus. So that's what G7 is. There's no
Right, and I
cost for
just wanted to
G7.
be sure that, right, that there's no cost to G7.
Yes, ma'am.
Any other questions as it relates to the consent agenda? Is there a motion?
I move we approve the consent agenda.
Motion by Mrs. Walterside, second by Mr. Barker. Questions? All in favor respond by aye. Aye. Any opposers? Motion passes 6-0. Thank you. All right, move to a few information items. Number one, priority one update, academic achievement at all levels. Dr. Hickman.
All right, I am excited that Kim Martinek, our Director of Assessment and Accountability, is going to do this presentation for us to go over our end of year MAP results from May. As you know, we don't have finalized state assessment results yet. We'll have those about mid-August, but we did want to share with you the data that we do have that closed out the end of the last school year. So I'll turn it over to Kim.
Good evening, President Mitchell, Dr. Hickman, and the members of the board. I am Kimberly Martinek, as she said, Director of Assessment and Accountability, and I will be presenting on our end of year NWA MAP data. Before we do, we kind of need to set the stage because this is a percentile and it's on growth. And so when we think about the percentile, if the student meets that 50% mark, then they have made the growth that we would expect them to do, and they would have met that national average. So we can see on this plants that the first one, the fourth one, and the fifth one, they've all surpassed that 10-inch growth. And so they have met and exceeded the growth that would be expected for students to make. The second and third one, they've met that national growth. They've hit that 10 inches. And so they're right there. And then the last one didn't quite make it yet. So we just want to make sure that when we're thinking about the data that we're keeping that in mind, and that we know that if we're at that 50th percentile, then our students have met the growth that would be expected for them to make for the year. So we're comparing our 25 and 26 math data. This is grades 1 through 4. And we can see that there has been some significant growth gains in these grade bands. Everyone met or exceeded that 50th percentile growth. So closing some gaps there, making sure kids are getting what they need. Here's our 5, 6, and 7 data. So we've got some 5th and 6th are a little bit underneath that 50th percentile. So we haven't quite made the growth that we needed them to make. But if we look at the 5th grade 2025, compare it to that 6th grade, we do see that those students did make gains. And so we are closing gaps and we are making sure that our kids are getting what they need. We just didn't make the growth that we needed in these 2 grades. Algebra 1, Algebra 2, both of those met that 50th percentile and greater. So again, we've made the growth that we needed to make. We've got that percentile there. Geometry is a little bit behind. So I would need to do a little homework to find out exactly why we didn't make that growth. But I don't, but we didn't quite make what we needed to make. We were almost there, but just not quite. This is our reading data. In first, 3rd, and 4th, you can see that we made the growth that we needed to make. All of them are at the 50th percentile or greater, which is what we were expecting them to do. Typically in 2nd grade, we do see that drop. And the reason we see that drop is when students are in the 1st grade, the assessment automatically reads the test to every student. When they get to 2nd grade, it's only our students who have an identified reading disability that would get the read to them. And so therefore we do see that drop for that reason. We didn't see the drop in math because we follow the state guidelines of for STAR assessment. In third grade, all of it gets read. So then in second grade, all of them get it read as well. And for math, just not for reading. In fifth grade, we met it. Sixth and seventh, we're just a little bit below, but we're still, our kids are almost there. And so continuing to work to make sure that we're closing those gaps with those kiddos and making sure we've got the curriculum instruction in place to help close those gaps. All of these grades met their growth, 9, 10, 11, and 12. I think we understood that maybe the teacher incentive allotment came into play. And so a little bit more serious about making sure kids took the test and took it serious.
Yeah, I'll just add, our teacher incentive allotment is based on this math growth data. So teachers would qualify for TIA based on this data rather than on STAR. And so we saw a lot more opportunity for our high school teachers to qualify based on this really great growth data from last year.
And here's our Spanish. And our Spanish has really been very consistent across the board. They're staying very consistent year over year. Again, second grade would be the same reason. We see they're not there as, but I mean, we see that regression for the same reason we did on the English side of that. And then third and fourth science, again, they all hit their percentile. They all made that 50th, made that 50th percentile for growth. And in 5, 6, and 7, well, 5 and 6, 7, they made that growth as well. Sixth grade, we had that regression. They struggle a little bit with reading. We saw they came in a little bit lower, and so it's just still working on it. Any questions? Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Next item, we're talking about capturing kids' hearts for 26-27. Mr. Reyes.
Good evening, President Mitchell, Dr. Hickman, and members of the board. I am Rick Reyes, Executive Director of School Leadership and Campus Support. Tonight, I'd like to provide an update on our plans for capturing kids' hearts for the 26-27 school year and ask for your support as we continue this important work. As you know, capturing kids' hearts has become an important part of how we build positive relationships, strengthen campus culture, and create learning environments where students and staff can thrive. We believe those relationships are foundational to student success, and we remain committed to that work. Tonight, we are recommending that we continue full implementation of capturing kids' hearts at all of our elementary campuses, including Elgin Intermediate School. At the same time, we recognize that the needs of middle school and high school students are different. Rather than taking a one-size-fits-all approach, we will partner with the Capturing Kids' Hearts team and our secondary principals to develop a more intentional implementation that is age-appropriate, relevant, and engaging for both students and staff. This approach allows us to maintain our commitment to relationship-driven school culture while ensuring the work is meaningful at every grade level. I'm also pleased to share that through a grant from the Capturing Kids' Hearts Foundation, the district's financial commitment has been significantly reduced. The total value of the 26-27 program is $81,600. Of that amount, the CKH Foundation is contributing $31,700 through grant funding, reducing Elgin ISD's cost to $49,900. Although the district's financial obligation is below the $50,000 threshold that requires formal board approval, we want to bring this agreement to you in the interest of transparency and to keep you informed of the significant district initiatives and partnerships. We respectfully request your support as we move forward with this agreement and to continue investing in relationships and campus cultures that are foundational to student success. Thank you, and I'd be happy to answer any questions you might have.
Thank you for that information. We've had earlier conversations regarding that, and we know how important that is. Elementary campuses, but we'll continue to keep an eye on that to make sure that we'll get it best made.
Yes, sir. Appreciate that. Thank you.
Next update on construction projects, including the 21 and 2024 bonds.
Good evening, President Mitchell, trustees, Dr. Hickman, Rainey Land, Executive Director of Capital Projects. Excited to once again bring you an update on the construction projects that we have going on across the district. Just a quick update. Overall, this is really where we're at. We got 16 active projects. At some point, this may be a design phase or currently under construction. We've got 14 additional projects or separate projects in another phase of warranty or closeout, covering 30 separate projects across the district. So this covers my team and 2 different program management firms. So we've got a lot of work going on across the district. I know you all see this each month, but there's a lot of things that have been taken care of and a lot of things still to go with both the 21 and 24 bonds. So excited to show you those tonight. Transportation facility, as you all have heard about this for quite a while, this is something that thankfully we are coming to a close on this project. We believe we're working on getting a certificate of occupancy, working on the checklist for that with both the fire marshal, the city, all the different permitting authorities. Our final trainings have been completed for the building systems for our M&O teams. That's a part of most of the projects that we work on. Overall, we're working on final project closeout with the general contractor. Our sewer lift station has been recently installed. That is a large piece of what's been holding up this project. Working with the adjacent developer, Triata, to get that wastewater connection completed. You all have heard about that over past couple of months. Materials are on order for that, and we expect work to begin taking place in August for that work. Right now, really what we're focusing on is the second piece that's holding up this effort. To getting on site is that driveway you see there. We've still got the construction entrance remaining. We were really hoping for this TxDOT expansion to move forward and give us access to our site, but it looks like that's going to be delayed a little bit. We're in coordination with adjacent developers, TxDOT, just a lot of moving parts there. So we're likely going to do some type of temporary paving there just so we can get in this site sooner. And then once that TxDOT expansion comes, then a final driveway will be put into place. But again, we're working with TxDOT in the city to get a temporary arrangement put into place. Over to Harvest Ridge, we've got portables on site now. As you can see there, this was from a couple of weeks ago. They had just been delivered. Out there today, we've got subcontractors on site working both outside and inside, doing flooring work, finishing ceilings, outside putting the skirting on. We got decks and ramps going in. So we're glad to see those buildings on site. I know for the folks there on the campus, they'll be glad to have this additional space in the fall. We've got conduits that have been installed from the main building running out to these portables for the additional parts of infrastructure that'll go out there for fire alarms and air conditioning and those types of things. And we are getting quotes for remaining site utilities that will need to be out there for the final connections. Priority maintenance projects under 21 bond. These photos here illustrate a lot of the conditions at Elgin Elementary. I mean, I'd be lying if I say I wasn't a little nervous. You know, when you tear apart a school in the summer with 70 days to get it all put back together, it's a lot. And I'm thankful that we've got administrators on campus who are becoming a little bit accustomed to the work that we've done over the past few years with the bond. They've become very flexible and patient with us. They realize that a lot of projects don't go exactly as planned. So as we sit down and have conversations with them, they realize that there's certain things outside of our control and certain things that we can manage a little bit better than others. But all that said, these are some of the current conditions there. You can see in that top left-hand corner, we've got electrical upgrades going on there, moving a transformer that's in coordination with Encore. So we're working with the electric utility provider. New ductwork going in the library. Well, we've still got ceiling to put in underneath that ductwork, but the ductwork is now completed. They've got the unit replaced in the kitchen. There's a few units that went in over that kitchen space. But as you can see there in the bottom right-hand corner, that is in the front pre-K hallway. We've got new ceiling in there. Just today when I was over there, they were putting the ceiling tiles in. So we are seeing that transform a little bit to looking more like the schoolroom and the classrooms that we expect. But overall, we have seen some delays with equipment delivery on this project. We've had to get creative and have discussions both with the contractor and with the campus administration on what this will look like when we move back in. So there may be some temporary units in some of the rooms, or we may have to talk about shifting some of the students to other areas, but those are continuing conversations that we have with the campus administration. We make sure and keep them informed on where we're at least weekly, if not more often. So we're thankful again to have administration that realizes that for the improvements that they will ultimately see from this, it may be a little inconvenience for a while, but we'd like to keep that transparency open. Admin building, same contractor under the same contract. We have got units replaced on the first floor. They are doing work on the second floor, replacing a couple of AC units up there. Because we wanted to keep the focus on the elementary, the work at admin will extend into the fall, and we'll continue to work with campus administration here in this building to move folks around in their offices as needed. Just behind us here at the old stadium, we've seen the transformation under the bleachers and next to the restroom area there to improve the overall appearance and ADA accessibility. We've got concrete installation underway. Today they were out working on the structure underneath the bleachers. They've done a lot of sandblasting and getting repainting underway. And then some of the structural members have arrived and they'll start welding those in place. Overall, they'll get handrails delivered soon, and they'll be up working on the deck and the press box repair soon. Probably the last thing we'll do is what you see in the top left-hand corner there. We've got some formwork for a handicap parking space just adjacent to the DAP portals that we placed last year. That'll probably be one of the last sections that we pour, but overall, this will be ready for football this season, and we expect a much better circumstance than what we had last year for folks. So this will be a nice addition to what is everybody knows is a much older facility, but this will be a nice addition. Staying with the 21 bond, at all the elementaries that are not counting Harvest Ridge and Trinity Ranch, we had full playground replacements. Harvest Ridge had a limited scope of work with just the installation of a single shade canopy that was not installed with the new building. But as you can see here, we've got a lot of dirt work going on. We had crews at each site today as we made our rounds to take a look. The rains hurt us a little bit in June. That did set us back as they had their holes excavated to deal with the black clay out here. They had to excavate a little bit. That rain in June hurt us a little bit. But we did see the folks back on site. We've got excavation underway. These pad sites are getting put back into place. We did get confirmation today that equipment has shipped, so we do expect installations to start later this week with playground equipment at each site. So we're going to be down to the wire on these campuses. We'll continue again, just like at the elementary, we'll continue to communicate with campus administration. If we think we're going to push past the start of school for any reason, we'll make sure and let folks know. But right now it's going to be very close, so I'll admit that, but much closer than we would like. But we do think that most of these playgrounds will be installed before school starts. 24 bond, Legacy Oak Middle School. This project is still moving along quite well. Interior finishes are underway in certain areas. We've seen some photos of restrooms that are fully tiled out, look virtually complete, minus the fixtures. We've got brick veneer going up around the building. You can see there brick veneer at the front drive. In that larger photo, we've got rooftop AC units being installed across the building. So from one end of the building to the other, if you were to look at a large photo, one end is more complete than the other. But it's great to see as you walk around the progression across the job site. In that top left photo, that's a picture of the service courtyard. You can see in the left side of that photo, the transformers are already installed. We've got some large concrete pads there. Of course, you all know out on 1704, we don't have natural gas out there. So we'll have two very large propane tanks out there for our equipment. So that's what those concrete pads are. We're seeing significant progress with window installation. We'll work to get this building dried in, and then we'll start seeing power turned on and air conditioning early this fall. So that'll be an important milestone in the project. We are continuing discussions with TxDOT for our final permit for the traffic signal. That's also something we want to get finalized. We know there's a long lead time with that project, just in itself getting the traffic signal installed. But then ultimately, June 27th, less than a year, we'll be looking for completion and move in. So exciting time there. CT press box back over to the stadium. A little outdated since I put this slide deck together. Most of the tape and float is actually completed. If you look at this today on the inside, we're beginning painting already. So that top left photo today, all those walls are painted. Glazing, the outside window installation is virtually complete. They do have some ceiling work continuing with the ceiling grid inside the building. Driving out there today, you can see the metal panel installation going on in that building. They've got a nice gray metal panel. It's beginning to really change the outside appearance of that building. Permanent power to that building is there. We do expect HVAC startup later this week. So they'll get air conditioning on in the building, and that'll help the finish team with painting and all of the interior finishes. That'll help to move that along. Piers for the school board are being drilled this month, and before long we'll see that nice large school board and video board out there really change the appearance for the outside stadium. Overall, we're still on track for a project completion of November of 2026. We think we can hit that date, and we're excited about what this facility is going to look like. Homestead, nice CTE culinary space coming along. We've got the walk-in freezers and coolers installed. They'll be started up shortly. We'll be able to see the performance on those in that bottom left-hand image there. You can see the overhead door installation. That's really the separating wall between the classroom and the culinary lab itself. So that'll be a really nice separation there. Floor tile is nearly complete. You can see in that larger photo, they've got some protective covering over that floor tile that's already been installed. Door and hardware installation is upcoming in the next few days to get all those areas secure. We've had a couple of power shutdowns, so Blue Bonnet could come out and get permanent power installed. HVAC systems throughout the building are now running. Kitchen equipment crews are installing equipment onto the bin hood there. You can see some of the equipment just installed. But overall, we've got crews working at least 6 days a week to move this project along to work to achieve a substantial completion for late August. Newer project, Elementary 6. I know we just talked about 4 and 5 when we think about Harvest Ridge and Trinity Ranch, but already looking at Elementary 6. These are some preliminary designs for what that project could look like. As we meet with our architects and design team, they present us options. We meet with our internal folks, of course, administration and other internal stakeholders to review options. And these are just a couple of those options on site layout and exterior rendering. So we do have a preliminary site plan developed for what the site could look like out there in Lund Farms, reviewing those options for exterior building finishes. We'll continue to finalize the programming for all of the spaces that need to be laid out within the building. We'll continue coordinating with the infrastructure folks there at Lund Farms to make sure the roads, the infrastructure as far as water and wastewater come into the building, into the site where they need to be. And of course, we've got a construction manager at risk on board now, providing early site input, cost analysis, and those types of things as we evaluate different options. Construction timeline for this facility really depends on future bond sales. While we would love to see it open in 2028, that's going to be dependent on future bond sales potentially next year. If we can afford to sell, then we might push that date, but it'll be dependent on really tax base and tax growth over the next 12 months. High school expansion, this is a similar story. When we think about the high school expansion that just opened last year, we do have a little bit of capacity left, but based on a project this size, this is really about a 3-year plan. We've got about a year of design time and about 2 years for construction. So we need about a 3-year jump on this. So, we take a look at our demographics and see where we're going to be in 3 years and know that the need for this additional space is going to be out there. So this was a project that was part of our 2024 bond. We looked at that site that was purchased a few years ago adjacent to the existing high school, and this is the preliminary layout for that site. Initially, our intent would be to have this serve 9th grade students with a core capacity for 1,500 kiddos. Programming, just like at the elementary, is still being finalized. We're still meeting with each of the internal departments, everybody from special ed to food service, athletics, fine arts, all of those folks, to make sure we get all of the spaces and areas within the building and within the entire footprint of this facility that we need. We do have our construction manager at risk on board for this project as well to provide input for design cost and design analysis as we move forward. And just like with the elementary, construction timeline will be dependent on future bond sales. Well, we've got funds available from the 24 bond to fund the design. We don't yet have enough funds available to fund the entire construction. So we'll just have to see where we're at next year. Priority maintenance under the 24 bond. This is the first images we've had to show. We've looked at a couple of schedules over the past couple of months, but we have begun work on the bleachers This project is middle school and high school bleacher replacement and refurbishment. So there on the left, you can see the small set of bleachers in the competition gym at the high school. All the seats were removed. They'll remove all the bleacher flooring there and replace those. But really, if you look at the notes over on the right, this project, after that small set of bleachers has been repaired, this project will probably end up pushing pause for a while. We've had some water intrusion in the large gym there, both due to storm and a water line leak in the adjacent locker room last week. So that's going to really take precedence over getting the bleachers fixed. We're going to have to do some repairs to the gym floor, and we'll have to press pause on the bleacher work. That could be winter break, or it may even be a little bit further out. At the time when this slide was drafted, the water leak hadn't happened yet. So it was quite a large leak, and it may be detrimental to that existing gym floor. So we'll work through that. That's what we do is solve problems. So overall, we'll get the bleachers replaced in time and repaired, but we'll continue to shift our focus in the immediate future to getting the gym floor repaired for the activities that need to happen this fall. Last slide here is a project you all may remember a few months back. We had a nice donation from the Bastrop Livestock Association. This is just the results of that donation. You can see this is our ag barn out there on South 95. The project in progress there. You can see some steel framing up. And then overall, this is a couple of shots of the completed view. There was some additional concrete that was installed, and then the uprights and the overhead steel there. So what this did is just give a few more spaces for dry pens and places for kids in this program to wash their animals in a dry area. So we're thankful for the partnership with the Livestock Association and helping with this and getting this project to completion.
I have some questions.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Well, first, I want to just make a comment that I feel for the faculty and staff and the administration at Elgin Elementary School as they start out their year. I can't imagine the mess that they're having to go through. So anyway, I feel for you guys. The other thing I want to ask you, okay, at Harvest Ridge, when you're putting in the portables, is there a covered walkway that the kids can go get into the main building, like for lunch and things like that? Or
there's not, no ma'am, not that covers that entire route. We're looking to put a canopy over the doors between the portables.
Right.
But as far as the entire walkway, no ma'am, there will not be. It'd be similar to Booker T. Washington, how they may have a covered part of the way, but to make it all out there, they'll be exposed to the elements a little bit.
So are we going to give them umbrellas if it rains? I mean,
we could consider
and
that.
it's cold.
Sure.
I
mean, portables are an unfortunate necessity. I think NIDIG has the benefit of having their pathway to the portables mostly covered. But when we think about Booker T. Washington, for example, a lot of those students are unfortunately exposed to the elements, the rain, when that happens. So this will be a similar path. We've thought about that during construction and where those would be placed, but and we can certainly price a canopy, but I think you'll may be surprised at what a canopy costs to get that far. It's quite
it can work, but it's just still a pain.
Yes, ma'am.
I guess let's see. I think that's all I have. So thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Rainey. I mentioned to Dr. Hickman earlier, I'd like to maybe see if we can arrange a tour for the board to see some of these projects in person. Slides, but so hopefully we can get something scheduled when everybody's available. Next item to discuss and consider board approval of a delegate, an alternate to the 2026 Texas Association of School Boards. We know that the conference will take place this year in Houston during the month of October. And as such, we always have to designate the delegate and an alternate for the delegate assembly, which occurs at that time. Mr. Mrs. Reese served as delegate last year, and Mr. Baker was the alternate. So this year, I'm recommending that we nominate Cheryl Reese as the delegate and Mr. Barry Barker as the alternate for the delegate seat. There are no other names to be brought forth. I have a motion in that regard.
I so move. Put them to work.
Motion by Mrs. Wilson. I'll second it. Any other questions? All in favor said motion, respond by aye. Aye. Any opposers? Motion passes 6-0. Thank you. All right, next item to discuss and consider endorsement of candidate for the TASB Board of Directors Region 13, Seat B. Most of you probably received that in your packet. Those individuals who wanted to serve in that capacity. Do either of you have anybody that a name comes to that you would like to recommend for that position? We have Anna Cortez, which is our neighboring district, Maynard ISD, Mackey from Blanco ISD, and Mr. Alvarez from Florence ISD.
I'd like to move that we send our support for Stephen Mackey, since he's the incumbent.
There are other notes? Okay, well, that's a motion by Mrs. Waltershine to endorse Mr. Mackey since he's coming up to the position. Is there a second to that?
Second.
Second by Mrs. Wilson. No questions? All in favor, said motion, respond by aye. Aye. Any opposers? Motion passes 6-0. We shall endorse Mr. Mackey for the 13th seat. Okay. Next item, consider approval of a contract with Communities in Schools for the school year 26-27. Dr. Cornelius.
Good evening, Board President Mitchell, Dr. Hickman, and members of the board. My name is Bridget Cornelius, and I serve as the Assistant Superintendent of Student Services. So I want to talk about communities in schools. So following further review and stakeholder feedback, it's been determined that CIS, Communities in Schools, provides a greater level of direct support and impact for students than was initially reflected in prior discussions and reports. So we understand that CIS and know that CIS provides a nonprofit partner. They provide social services within Elgin ISD through campus-based program managers. There's one at every campus. They also provide student support plans that's developed with campus staff to address attendance, which was a big initiative this past school year, academic behavior and social service needs. They have direct services that include counseling, crisis intervention, mediation when necessary, de-escalation, case management, family engagement, referrals, enrichment, attendance incentives, and student advocacy. So our recommendation is that the board approves the CIS purchase, which totals $297,500 into the general operating budget. We are committed to ensuring that there is equitable support across all campuses. One of the things that came about was there were some services that are on some campuses that aren't on the other. We really want to make sure that we're meeting with the CIS programmers to make sure that we align the expectations and ensure that all of our campuses receive a consistent level of service and a consistent level of support. We also are committed to sustaining the work. And as we do that, we will review additional funding sources to support the long-term sustainability of CIS services. And lastly, we certainly want to make sure that we monitor that impact. And that's in collaboration with Communities in Schools and with our campuses. We want to make sure that CIS provides campuses and district-wide reporting on students served, what service they're receiving, which of our students are receiving those services, and how that's impacting directly attendance, behavior, and academic outcomes. So we're asking that the board approve the contract for CIS for this coming school year for $297,500.
Thank you, Dr. Cornelius. We had quite a few input from community members and staff members as well. So I think it's important for us.
Yes,
Is there a
sir.
motion in that regard?
I so move.
Motion by Mrs. Reese, second by Mr. Barker. Any other questions? All in favor of said motion respond by aye. Aye. Any opposers? Motion passes 6-0. Thank you.
Thank you.
It is 7:50 p.m. and the board will recess into closed session and then reconvene as allowed under section 551.071 through 551.084 of the Texas Government Code to discuss purchase, exchange, lease, or value of real property, Texas Government Code 551.072, or discuss personnel matters, Texas Government Code 551.074. Should any final action, final decision, a final vote be required in the opinion of the school board with regard to any matters considered in such closed executive session or meeting, then the final action, final decision or vote shall be either in the open meeting covered by the notice upon the convening of the public meeting or the subsequent public meeting of the school board upon notice thereof, as the school board shall return. It is 8:19 p.m. The board will reconvene into open meeting at this time. During the closed meeting, only the items that appeared on the agenda were discussed. No final action, no final decision or vote was taken during the closed meeting. At this time, is there a motion to adjourn? Motion by Mr. Barker, second by Mrs. Wilson. All in favor respond by aye. Aye. No opposers. It is 8:20 p.m. and we are adjourned.